Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddhang, buddhang, buddhang vande. Dhammang, dhammang, dhammang vande. Sanghang, sanghang, sanghang vande. Buddham dhammang sanghang vande. Homage to the Buddha, homage to the Dhamma, homage to the Sangha, homage to the Triple Gem. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear friends in Dhamma, all of you are warmly welcome. We are going to discuss one of the doctrines in Buddhism, in Pali, Saddha or confidence. Saddha means confidence in the Buddha's enlightenment, his understanding. When we discuss Buddhism, there is a special topic that the Triple Gem. Triple Gem means the Buddha or Buddha's enlightenment, and the Dhamma, the Buddha's teachings, and the Sangha, the Buddha's noble disciples. These three things are very important. Among them, the Buddha means Buddha's enlightenment, not only about his physical body, but about his enlightenment, his understanding. Buddha discovered, realized and proclaimed to the world the reality in the world. When we start our spiritual journey, first of all, we should have some kind of confidence what he said, what Buddha said. That is very important. In our day-to-day life, we do a lot of things which depending on confidence. Sometimes some people may say that I don't believe anything without details, without seeing. Even though some people say that, how do we believe, how we confident in our birthday? Do we remember our birthday? How do we trust in our birthday? Because our parents have told that this is your birthday. We believe them. And also, how do we believe our parents, especially our mom? Have you done an experiment with DNA cells? Never. We trust in our parents with confidence. And when we say that the earth is a globe or round, have you seen that the earth is round? No. A lot of things in our life we believe in trust. But here, it is very important to understand when we confident in Buddha's enlightenment, it is not just a blind faith. It is a understandable confidence. And that is why Buddha says, Saddhati tathagatasya bodhing. Here, we confident in what he taught, what he realized, what he explained. For that, we should listen into what he said. Buddha says, Ehi Pasiko. One of the qualities of Dhamma is that come and see. Buddhism never says us that come and believe. Buddha always invites us, come and see. When we listen to his message, little by little, we can understand when we practice this message, we can receive the results in this immediate life, and also we can develop our inner peace. We can overcome suffering. When we are going to confident in Buddha's message, First of all, we should understand what he has explained. Buddha's message completely depends on happiness. Buddhism explains the way how we achieve the real happiness. Ordinary people in this world, they think that their happiness depends on their money, their glory, and their working hard. Those are the things that ordinary people are confident in for their inner peace. Buddhism also explains how we go forward in our economic and our social life. But here, especially, Buddhism explains the way how we increase our real happiness, how we achieve the real peace of mind. Here, the more we purify our mind from negative thoughts, the more we can see our happiness. There are 3 unwholesome mental states that disturb our peace of mind. They are greed or craving, anger or ill will, and delusion or ignorance. Greed, anger, and delusion. Craving, ill will, and ignorance. These 3 things are the main unwholesome mental roots that disturb our peace of mind. Our real success, our real happiness depends on how far we can eradicate these negative thoughts from our mind. When we are going to eradicate these negative thoughts from our mind, we can see a gradual path. Buddha's message is like the ocean. Ocean deepens gradually. Buddha's message also like that. Here, the very first step is that practicing 5 precepts. Practicing 5 precepts. It means 5 precepts means abstaining from taking life, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from false speech, abstaining from intoxicating drinks and drugs. Anyone can practice these 5 things for their inner peace. The more we practice these 5 things, 5 qualities, the more we can see the results in this immediate life. When you associate a person with, if you know that person practices these 5 things, like he doesn't kill any being, he doesn't steal, he has no sexual misconduct, he doesn't speak false speech, and he doesn't use alcohol, drugs. If that person has these qualities, you are confident in that person. You believe that person. You have no problem with that person. That person is respected in this society. You also like that. When you practice these 5 qualities in this society, you are respected. You are honored in this society. The more we practice these 5 things, the more the people respect you. That is why at the beginning on the path of liberation, it is very important to practice this path. Sometimes on this day you can practice sometimes 1 thing, sometimes 2 things. It doesn't matter. Little by little, we should try to increase our success, our progress in this path. On the path of liberation, at the beginning, we have to practice the 5 precepts. Next, for inner peace, Buddhism has explained the importance of practicing loving kindness. Loving kindness is one of the main doctrines in Buddhism. like we practice at the hall, thinking thus may all beings be well, happy and peaceful. Again and again we spread loving kindness to everyone in this world. The more we practice loving kindness, the more we eradicate anger. The more we reduce anger, the more we increase our inner peace. Until we start practicing loving kindness, we haven't started the peace of mind, the journey of our mental culture. And the second one is practicing loving kindness. The third one in Buddhism we practice is that, what is that? Mindfulness. With the understanding of the divine origination, mindfulness. These three things can be practiced by everyone without any differences. As religion, as ethnic, without any differences, we can practice these three things. You know, the Buddha explained his message not for Buddhism, but for people who are wise, who seek the peace of mind. And these three things can be practiced by everyone. 5 precepts, loving kindness, and mindfulness. And also, while we are practicing these three things, we should have another qualification, another theme that associating with good friends or good association, good friendship. This is also very important. When we listen to Buddha's message, we should have a good friend. It is not always a physical person, but sometimes it may be a website. Sometimes it may be a book. Sometimes it may be a CD. Wherever you can find a good friend when we practice this path. In short, we can say associating with the triple gem, the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. Buddha means Buddha's enlightenment, Dhamma means his message, Sangha means Buddha's disciples. And also, when we go on this path, we should have another qualities in our life. Without these qualities, we are unable to reach the friendship, good friendship, and we are unable to reach the real results from this message. In our background, as the foundation, we should have some qualities in our lives. What they are? Honesty. We should be honest. And we should be wise. Wisdom. And also we should be gently spoken. We should pay our attention. That is also very important. We should be wise. We should be honest. We should be gently spoken. Not we should gently speak. We can gently speak. It is not a problem. Anyone can speak gently. It is not a quality. Quality is that we should be gently spoken. It means when someone says something, we should pay our attention clearly and correctly. It doesn't mean that we should follow it. Sometimes we don't need follow it, what they say. But we should pay our attention very well. These three qualities are very important on this path. If we have these qualities, if we are ready to listen to something, it means we are ready to correct our mistakes. This is like, counseling. When counselor is going to help some client should be ready to listen to what he says. If the client doesn't doesn't pay his attention to the counselor is unable to help him. This message also like that. I think all of you have these qualities. That is why you are here. And you are honest, you are wise, you are gently spoken. When you have these qualities, you receive the message. When students are ready, the teacher appears. Like that. When we have these qualities, then it means we are ready to increase the peace of mind. Then we can find the message. Now, today the technology is very high, therefore we can find the message. The people in this world are seeking the real message for their inner peace. Then they meet some teachers and finally they come to the Buddha's message. First of all, they follow some other religions and then they listening to some Tibetan monks' sermons, and sometimes they go to some countries like Tibet, China or like that. Then they go to Myanmar or Thailand, and finally they go to Sri Lanka, finding the Buddha's message. And however, you are so fortunate, even though you are in the USA, you can find this message because of your fortune. And when we go forward, little by little, we practice 5 precepts. When we practice 5 precepts, then we can see the immediate results in this life. And also, little by little, we increase the duration of practicing loving kindness. And Buddha says, as an intelligent person, the highest qualities that we can practice are that concentration and insight meditation. Concentration meditation means living in the present moment. If we develop positive thoughts such as loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, sympathetic joy, these are the concentration meditation techniques that we can practice to concentrate our mind. Our real success depends on the duration of concentration and insight meditation. That is why Buddha says, as a wise person, the highest qualities that we can practice are samatha and vipassana. That is why we always say that Buddhist grade point average is that the duration of concentration. If we can increase the duration of our concentration meditation, it means our GPA is very high. Our grade point average is very high in spirituality, not in education. Sometimes, we can see some people, even though they are well educated, even though they have some master's degrees, sometimes they have, doctorates, sometimes they have double doctorates, but they are unable to concentrate their mind at least 1 minute. That is why our real success, our real GPA, grade point average, depends on the duration of concentration meditation. Not only GPA, but Buddhism explains IQ or EQ too. What is IQ or EQ? emotional quotient or intelligent quotient, the duration of insight meditation, vipassana bhavana, the duration of contemplating on impermanence, reflecting on arising and ceasing of our mind. Our mind is impermanent, it is dissatisfactory, it is selfless. If we can contemplate on this reality again and again, it means we don't depend on outside persons or things. As soon as we experience something, we suddenly look at inside. The ordinary people look at outside and they respond for the outside world. But we look at inside. When we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, when we feel something, we suddenly look at inside. What happens to my life? What happens to my mind? Then we find the very special thing, which is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the best friend. Whenever we live in mindfulness, it means nobody or nothing can disturb our peace of mind. Buddha says, living in mindfulness is like that living in the field of the Buddha. Whenever we are away from mindfulness, it means we are in the field of the Mara or devil. Then he can control us. He can bring suffering to us. But if we are in mindfulness, then it means we can experience something outside, but outside persons and things are unable to disturb our peace of mind. No one or nothing can bring us suffering or even happiness. We create happiness or suffering inside according to our present mental condition. Sometimes I show something. If you don't know about that, sometimes your mind is neutral. If you have familiar with that thing, you may be happy. Sometimes you are unhappy. But the thing is same. How suffering or happiness come to you? According to our mental condition, according to our attitude, according to our perception. If we can change our perception to the correct way, then we can overcome suffering. This is the path that Buddha has explained. First of all, practicing 5 precepts, then loving kindness, finally mindfulness. Mindfulness can be divided into 3. Sometimes, a lot of people in this world say that their mindfulness is that they say us that forget your past, forget your future, live in the present moment. That may be a treatment, but it is not Buddhist mindfulness. Buddhism never says us to forget our past or future. If we forget our past or future, it is a big mistake. When we practice mindfulness, our memory gradually increases. Memory is not the fault. What is the fault? Fault is ignorance or delusion. When we remember something, if our mind goes to past and if mind lives in the past experience, that is the reason of suffering. Even though we remember something, if we are in mindfulness, then we know very well, now I am reading my mind. For an example, if you remember someone who has blamed you, as soon as you are remember that incident, if you are ignorant, if you are not mindful, then you may get angry. You may get upset. The reason is that you don't know that now you are reading your mind. If you are mindful, if we are wise, then we can remember that incident. Suddenly we know that now I am reading my mind. Then our mind is in equanimity. It is neutral. And this is the path that Buddha explained. Little by little we can go forward. And also, our topic is that the triple gem or confidence in what the Buddha told. The more we listen to Dhamma, the more we practice Dhamma. The more we practice Dhamma, the more we see the results. The more we see the results, the more we are confident in what the Buddha discovered or taught. And the first thing is the Buddha. Contemplating on the Buddha's qualities is one of the meditation techniques. And it means, when you remember someone who is your friend, if that person has good qualities, your mind is so pleasant, you are happy. If that person comes to meet you, you are ready to meet him. You prepare something for him because of his qualities. Like that. When we remember Buddha's qualities, our mind is so pleasant. That is why it is said as a meditation technique. Buddha's all qualities can be included into 9. Such indeed the exalted one, worthy, Araham, Samma Sambuddho, supremely enlightened, Vijacharana Sampanno, endowed with knowledge and conduct, Sugato, well gone, Lokavidu, knower of the world, Anuttaro Puris Dhammasarathi, incomparable trainer of persons to be tamed, Saddha Deva Manusanam, the supreme teacher of deities and men, Buddha, enlightened, and Bhagava, exalted. When we contemplate on these qualities again and again, this is one of the meditation techniques that we can concentrate our mind. Then we can purify our mind from negative thoughts. At the moment we have no hindrances, Pancha Nivarana. Pancha Nivarana, 5 hindrances disturb our peace of mind. What are the 5 hindrances? Kama Chanda, sensual pleasure, Vyapada, ill will, and Tinamidda, sloth and torpor, Uddacha Kukucha, restlessness and scruples, and Vichikicha, skeptical doubt. These are the hindrances, negative thoughts that disturb our peace of mind. When someone can practice this path and concentrate his or her mind at the moment, these 5 hindrances are not in our mind. If a person can concentrate his or her mind, it means that person is at that moment like a god, like a, heavenly being, like a Brahma, in the Brahma realm. And also, the other thing is the second refuge or gem is that the Dhamma. Dhamma means Buddha's message. Buddha's message doesn't belong to Buddha. Buddha says very clearly, whether a Buddha appears or not in this world, this message is forever. Buddhism is not a creation, but it is a discovery. It is a discovery. What Buddha discovered? Buddha discovered how we can overcome suffering. The path that leads to overcome suffering, Buddha realized and proclaimed to the world. How suffering arises. How negative thoughts, unwholesome mental states arise our mind. When we remember something, when we think something, we suddenly go to the past experience. When you meet a person, you see only his shadow, his physical body, but suddenly you compare your thoughts with the previous experience. If you have good experiences, you are happy. If you have unpleasant experiences, you are unpleasant, you are worried, you are sad. And this is the way how suffering arises. If we can understand this way, we suddenly look at inside. What happens to my mind? Then suddenly we understand this present thought arises and ceases at the moment. Then we see the impermanence of the mental thoughts, our phenomena, our mental states. Then we can overcome suffering. This is the path, this is the Dhamma Buddha explained. Dhamma has 6 qualities. Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo. Dhamma is well expounded by the Blessed One. Visible results, immediately effective, calling one to come and see, leading onwards, and to be personally realized by the wise. These are the qualities of the Dhamma. When we think about the Buddha's enlightenment, our mind is so pleasant and calm. We have no negative thoughts at the moment. When we contemplate on the qualities of the Dhamma, at the moment our mind has no negative thoughts. And also the Sangha, Buddha's disciples, who practice this Dhamma, who dedicate their life for the longevity of the dispensation of the Buddha, our mind is so pure and calm. Monks or Buddha's disciples, they dedicate their entire life for their spiritual life and for the longevity of the Buddha Sasana. Even though we dedicate a lot of things, we are unable to go to temple for full day. We removing anything. Sometimes you can stay at a temple for one day. But if we say that you have to give up everything that you have for one day, even your hair, even your clothes, and wearing robes, but it is so difficult. Monks who Buddha's disciples, they have done these things for their long life, for their entire life. That is why we respect, we follow their qualities, we get them as an example. And if we have this confidence in the Buddha's disciples, our courage, our energy increases. And also, we also try to follow their qualities. And these 3 things, Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, contemplating on the Buddha or his enlightenment and his Dhamma message and his noble disciples, actually our mind is so pure and calm. That is why Buddhism says these are meditation techniques, concentration meditation techniques. Buddha Anusati, Dhamma Anusati and Sangha Anusati. On the other side, this confidence arises because of understanding. That is why Buddha says, Yo Dhammam Passati Somam Passati. He who sees the Dhamma sees me. He who sees the Dhamma sees me. This is the way how we can see the Buddha. When we see the Dhamma, not only through listening to, but through practicing and through achieving results, we can recognize who the Buddha is. And also again Buddha says, Yo paticcasamuppadam passati, so dhammam passati. He who sees the dependent origination sees the Dhamma. He who sees the dependent origination sees the Dhamma. He who sees the Dhamma sees the Buddha. Then, understanding the dependent origination is the main topic, the turning point. how our confidence in the triple gem gradually increases. And the dependent origination or the Paticcasamuppada is the heart of Buddhism. What is the dependent origination? In short, impermanence. What is the impermanence? Understanding impermanence decides our wisdom, our skills. Buddha says, I is impermanent, forms are impermanent, I consciousness is impermanent. What is the meaning of I is impermanent? I is impermanent means this I, not only the physical I, but the ability of sin arises at the moment, according to our present mental condition, according to our ignorance, craving. There are a lot of things inside. According to these mental conditions, the present I arises at the moment. For example, now you are present with me so far. However, if I blamed all of you, suddenly your mind changed. Then according to your mind, your I changed suddenly. Then when you look at me, you may get angry. You are unpleasant with me. The reason is that the present mental condition. And every moment, our six senses change. Our eye, our ear, nose, these are the senses. These senses are impermanent. Impermanence means they always arise and cease according to the present mental condition. And also, the other thing is that we are unable to see something through our eye. Usually we say that I see something through my eyes. It is the common thing. And also sometimes we think that I recognize something through my eye consciousness. It is a common explanation. But when we recognize something through our eye, the present, the first experience has ceased already. When you recognize something, what I say, the very first sound has ceased. We recognize something not through our eye or through our ear or through our nose or our body. We recognize something, we understand something through our mind. When we recognize through something through our senses, the first experience has ceased. But we don't know this reality. We think still it is happening. For example, when you drive, you always look at front, but the wheels of your car is here. You are sitting here, you are in here, but you look at there. You never look at your wheels when you drive. You always look at front. Always we live in the past experience. When you look at me, you may think that I am seeing this Bhante at the moment, but this is like you are driving. When you drive, your eyes in front, but you are living in the past experience that already ceased. Like that, we always live in the past experience mentally, but physically we are front. If we can understand this reality, we always reflect on impermanence. What is the impermanence? Impermanence means our I is impermanent, forms are impermanent, I consciousness is impermanent, and mind is impermanent, mental formations are impermanent, and mind consciousness is impermanent. Even though we say that eye, ear, nose, that our five senses, finally we find only our mind and mental formations. It means, when we recognize something, the very first experience has already ceased. In this situation, if we are able to recognize our mind and mental formations, and also we think these things are not permanent, they are impermanent, they arise and cease at the moment according to the present mental condition. Again and again, when we reflect on this reality by practicing insight meditation, little by little, we come to the reality. We come to the present moment. We don't go to our past or future. We always try to live in the present moment. Here, we always practice mindfulness. First of all, I explained you that mindfulness can be divided into 3. The very first one is mindfulness. The second one is mindful meditation. And also third one is the path that leads to practice mindful meditation. Mindfulness means living in the present moment. Mindfulness meditation means Samudaya Dhammanupassī viharati, Vaya Dhammanupassī viharati. Practicing insight meditation. The path that leads to mindful meditation is that understanding the dependent origination, impermanence. Impermanence is the reality of our life. If we have this understanding, little by little we go forward. How do we go forward? When we are mindful and mindful meditation, then craving and anger gradually disappear. We have nothing to catch, attach or detach. We are in neutral. We are in equanimity. Little by little, our equanimity increases. It doesn't mean that we are lazy. Actually, we are so active. We do everything actively and positively, but our mind suddenly goes to equanimity. And little by little, we go forward on this path. The confidence in what the Buddha taught gradually increases. That is the Saddha. If we have this Saddha or confidence in Buddha's enlightenment, our energy, virya, gradually increases. We should try to go forward on this path. Why is that? If we don't practice this path, we have to suffer when we are ignorant. And also when energy or strength or virya increases, our mindfulness gradually increases. When we practice mindfulness, samadhi or concentration gradually increases. And when mind is concentrated, samahito bhikkhave yatha bhutam pajanati. When mind is concentrated, we realize the reality, impermanence as it is. Panya. Saddha, virya, sati, samadhi, panya. These 5 things are spiritual faculties, indriya dharma. And also they are strengths. And also Saddha is a seed. Saddha is a wealth. Saddha molika sabbe kusala dhamma. Saddha or confidence in the triple gem is the main thing that decides our spiritual life. And also Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, these 3 things are interrelated. That is very interesting. Sometimes some disciples met first time Buddha. Sometimes some disciples met the Dhamma first time. Some disciples met the Sangha first time. Sometimes you have heard Bahya Daruchirya. Bahya Daruchirya first, he saw the Buddha and he listened to Dhamma and he recognized Dhamma and he had confidence in the Sangha too. Sometimes, you have heard about Kin Pokusati. Kin Pokusati met the Buddha at night in a hall. Physically, he didn't see the Buddha because of the darkness. And he had a discussion with the Buddha. Actually, he came to meet the Buddha. On the way, he met the Buddha at a hall. And he discussed with the Buddha. Buddha asked, where you are going? And my friend, I am going to meet the Supreme Buddha. He is in the Savatthi. I am on the way to meet him. Then Buddha asked, Pukusati, if you meet the Buddha, can you recognize him? No, my friend. I can't understand. I can't recognize him. My friend, if you like, I can explain what I realize. Then Pukusati was ready to listen to what the Buddha taught, what the Buddha realized. Then Buddha explained the Buddha's message. And after listening to Buddha's message, he worshipped the Buddha in the dark. He said that you are the real Buddha. First, he listened to Dhamma, then he recognized the Buddha. Finally, he went to meet the Sangha. Sometimes, like Sariputta, Bhante Sariputta met the Sangha first time. When he met Reverend Assaji, he says, Bhante Assaji, your behavior is so pleasant. What kind of teachings you practice? Who is your teacher? Then he explained that my teacher is the Buddha and I practice his message. Ye Dhamma hetu pabhavate sanghetun tathagatoaha. He explained what he practiced, the actually impermanence or the dependent origination. Then, after listening to message of the Sariputta, he recognized the Dhamma. He understood the Dhamma, and finally, Sariputta went to meet the Buddha. Like that. These three things are interrelated. Sometimes some people were confident in the Buddha's enlightenment first, then he listening to Dhamma, he found the Sangha. Sometimes, firstly, they listening to Dhamma, they found the Buddha and the Sangha. Sometimes some disciples met the Sangha first time, they listened to Dhamma, and they went to meet the Buddha. And understanding one thing leads to understand other two things too. However, the main thing is that understanding the Buddha's message, especially in one side, we understand the karmic law, the understanding of the karmic law. That is the very first step. And the second one is that the dependent origination. With the understanding of the dependent origination, we are ready to go forward on this path. We dedicate our entire life for the duration of concentration and insight meditation. That is why Buddha always encouraged us to practice samatha and vipassana. In Abhiññā Sutta, Buddha says, as an intelligent person, as a wise person, the highest education that a person can gain is that understanding the five aggregates, Panchaskandha or Panchuparanaskandha. And also as an intelligent person, as a wise person, the highest things that he has to overcome is that avijja and bhavatanha. Avijja means ignorance and bhavatanha means attachment to the world. Again, Buddha says, as an intelligent person, the highest qualities he can practice are that concentration and insight meditation. Our real success depends on the duration of concentration and wisdom. And also, finally, Buddha says, as a wise person, the highest qualities that we can achieve are Vijja Vimukti, knowledge and liberation. If we have this understanding, we know everything what happens to our life. Our life is our 6 senses and 6 objects outside. These 6 senses and 6 objects are impermanent. It means they arise and cease at the moment. If we have this understanding, if we can keep our attention on this reality, at the moment we have the liberation. And on this path again and again, we practice 5 precepts, loving kindness and mindfulness. And also, we increase the duration of reflecting on impermanence. First, we practice it as I is impermanent, forms are impermanent, I consciousness is impermanent, and finally, we practice only mind is impermanent, mental formations are impermanent, mind consciousness is impermanent. Again and again, we reflect on this reality. As the result of practicing this path for a long time, when we die, at the moment also, we reflect on this reality. When we think something, if we are ignorant, if we are not mindfulness, our mind suddenly go to forms. When you die, if you remember your son or grandson, your mind is fixed in your son or grandson. Even though you are unable to see those forms through your eyes, mentally you see that as visible. Then what happens to you? You are ready to come back to the world according to your present mental condition. If you are rich in merits, you can come back to the blissful life, but you are still in the samsaric circle. As soon as those mental thoughts come to our mind at the end of our life, if we are able to reflect on impermanence, my mind is impermanent, mental formations are impermanent, and mind consciousness is impermanent, suddenly we reflect on this reality, what happens to us? Yes, our death, our enlightenment, and our parinibbana passing away. These 3 things happen together at the same time. It means we have no qualifications to come back to the world. We see sin and arising and ceasing of our mental formations. If we are confident in this path, actually day by day, our confidence in Buddha's enlightenment, his Dhamma and his noble disciples increase day by day. Not only that, the very special thing, when we go on this path, we should be confident. But the interesting thing is that after we reach the destination, for example, when you go to a place, never you have been there. First of all, you have a confidence. What is the address? The destination. When you reach the destination, you have no more confidence. Like that, when we realize this, Dhamma Buddha says, Asaddo akatanyo. Asaddo means no more confidence. Then we see the reality as ours. We don't depend on even the Buddha, even the Dhamma, even the Sangha. Now we have liberated from the samsaric circle. It says Buddha as asaddo. Asaddo means no more confidence in what the Buddha taught. The reason is that we have already realized what the Buddha told. And also akatanyo. Akatanyo means we have no more to do. We have done what we have to do. This is the destination that Buddha has explained. Until we go to the destination, we should be confident. Before you go to the tree, we are unable to remove the ladder. Sometimes some people, when they know something in Buddhism, they try to give up the ladder before they climb the tree. We have one day that we have to remove the ladder after we climb the tree. But still we are on the way. We can't reject the ladder. Still we need the ladder. Still we should be confident in what the Buddha taught, and also we have to associate with good friends again and again. We should listen to Dhamma. We should have wise consideration, yoniso manasikara, and also practice patipada. These three things again and again we should practice. Kalyana mitta, saddhamma savana, yoniso manasikara, and dhammanudhamma patipada. Associating with good friends, listening to Dhamma, wise consideration, and practice samatha and vipassana. Day by day we should go forward. But the interesting thing is that while we are on the way, we can see some results. We don't need to wait until we reach the destination. On the way, we have some parties. We have some fruits. We have some results. What they are. When anger goes away, when we reduce our greed, when we can practice 5 precepts, when we practice loving kindness, our happiness gradually increases. Then we can see the results on the path. That is why there are a lot of places we can see the liberation. Buddha says, if someone can practice 5 precepts, he can practice the results. If someone can practice generosity, piti mudarang vindati data, he who practices generosity meets supreme blessings. And also if someone can practice 5 precepts, he can be proud of his virtuous life. And also if someone can practice loving kindness, his mind is pure and calm. He is pleasant among human and non-human. Devanam manussanam piyo hoti, amanussanam piyo hoti. And also when we practice concentration, then 5 hindrances gradually decrease, then mind is pure. We have liberation in there too. And also when we completely eradicate ignorance, attaining the enlightenment, then we can see the highest results attaining the enlightenment. On this path, day by day, we should increase our confidence, energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. Indriya Dharma, 5 faculties. Have any question? Yes?
Bhante, you said earlier that the Buddha taught the best education is, what did you say about that?
Yes, 5 aggregates, understanding 5 aggregates.
5 aggregates. And then you mentioned two other things.
Yes, I think that, I explained that avidya bhavatanha. Avijja means ignorance, bhavatanha means attachment to the world. And also, Buddha says, as an intelligent person, the highest education is that understanding 5 aggregates. Certainly, Buddha says, the highest things that we have to overcome, avidya bhavatanha, with our supernormal knowledge. Ignorance, and attachment to the world. Next, Buddha says, as a wise person, the highest qualities that we can develop are concentration and insight meditation with our supernormal knowledge. Finally, Buddha says, the highest achievements that we can gain are Vijja Vimukti, knowledge and liberation.
Do you have a sutta reference for that?
Abhiññā Sutta, in Anguttara Nikaya, Abhiññā Sutta. Actually, that is the short message in Buddhism. You know, the first thing is 5 aggregates means Dukkha Satya, the noble truth of suffering. Secondly, Buddha says, Avidya Bhava Tanha, what is that? The noble truth of the origin of suffering. Third one, Samatha Vidarsana, what is that? The noble truth of the path that leads to getting rid of suffering. Finally, Vijja Mukti, what is that? The noble truth of the cessation of suffering. The third one. Dukkha Satya, Samudaya Satya, Marga Satya, Nirodha Satya. Sometimes they are changed. Yes. Anguttara Nikaya, Abhiññā Sutta. Yes. That is very important. Yes, anything else? Actually, I think everyone can practice something. We can start this path by practicing 5 races, practicing loving kindness, thinking thus may all beings be well, happy and peaceful, and practicing mindfulness, living in the present moment and reflecting on impermanence. Day by day, we can go forward. And also, at the same time, we can practice other qualities like dana, practicing generosity, charity, donations. That is also very important. We should always generous. That is very important. And also we should be grateful. Gratitude also a quality. And there are some primary qualities that we should develop in our day-to-day life. Those fundamental qualities help us to go forward on this path. And finally, the highest qualities that we have, samatha and vipassana. Always we live in concentration and insight meditation. Then we don't depend on outside. We do our duties and responsibilities for others, but we don't accept any other things from them. The reason is that we have made a refuge inside by ourselves. That is why Buddha says, Atta Deepa Bhikkhave Viharata Saranana Anya Sarana. Dwell with yourself as an island, as a refuge, with no other refuge. Dhamma Deepa Bhikkhave Viharata Dhamma Sarana Anya Sarana. Dwell with the Dhamma as a refuge, with no other refuge. Even though we have children, one day they are unable to help us. Even though we have a physical body, one day the physical body is also unable to help us. Then our mind, if our mind is strong, that is strong mind can give us liberation, freedom. Okay, thank you for your good attention. By the power of this spiritual energy that we acquired here, may our departed relatives also receive this spiritual energy. May they enhance their samsaric journey. May they also attain the final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's share these merits with our departed relatives, reciting the Gatha. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita hontu. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these meritorious deeds, the guardian deities and angels also receive this spiritual energy. May they enhance their divine energy. May they keep their eye on you too. With that intention, let's share these merits with guardian deities and angels too. Akasattha ca bummattha devānaga mahiddhikā puññantang anumodit chirang rakkantu sāsanam. Akasattha ca bummattha devānaga mahiddhikā puññantang anumoditvā chirang rakkantu desanam. Akasattha ca bummattha devānaga mahiddhikā puññantang anumoditvā chirang rakkantu tvaṃ sadā. By the power of all these meritorious deeds, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain the final bliss of liberation. Dukkham pantā ca nindukkhā bhayam pantā ca nibbhayā sokam pantā ca nissokā hontu sambe pipānino. Let those who are in misery be free from misery. Let those who are in fear be free from fear. Let those who are in sorrow be free from sorrow. May all beings be free from suffering. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.